Welcome guys, and in today's video I want to go over how to put a stencil on the knee. I've had several requests for this video, so I thought let's make it happen. Let's answer your questions. So if you guys are ready to do that, then let's go. Alright guys, first things first, applying a stencil. Gloves. Next, we're going to apply the stencil to the knee like we already said. So we're gonna need to clean it and shave it. Start off as usual with some green soap on a paper towel. Check. Fresh razor, check. Lather it up with the green soap. The knee can be a bit tricky when you're shaving it, just take your time. I usually shave a little bit more than I need, that way if the stencil is larger than I expect it, it should be fine. Okay, so once you've shaven it, dispose of your supplies, and we're moving on to the next step. The next thing I do is I prep the stencil. So I've already printed out the stencil, I've got it on the stencil paper. Now what I'm doing is I'm going around and I'm putting some relief cuts in it. Now being that this is a flower, you don't have to worry as much. Even if you cut deep and go through a petal or something, you're still gonna be okay. It's a flower. You can kind of, once that's over, take your marker and reshape it if it comes out slightly deformed. So if you can tell here, I have a bunch of these little relief cuts throughout the whole thing. And in some of these spots, it's going through the actual stencil itself. Not too deep, but enough to where it can flex around the knee. But this is essentially the flower that we're working with here. Before I put on any stencil stuff or anything like that, I want to get this in the general location first. Now again, I'm not tattooing this, I'm just placing it so you guys know. But if you were actually gonna tattoo this, you could spend an extra few seconds and really get it exactly where you want. But for now, we're gonna call this good, and I'm gonna come down here and I'm gonna put a mark, just one, so I know that if I get these two lines lined up, I should be in the ballpark of where I wanna be. Now, oftentimes I'll have the client hold up the other side. Now I'm going to be using some stencil stuff. This is my preferred choice. You can use a speed stick, anchored, there's Electrum, there's a lot of products out there. This is just what I'm using. Make sure you shake it up well. We're gonna deposit a little onto our hand here, like that. And we're gonna come over here and rub it in. You want to rub it in nice and good, and like I talk about, I usually put a second thin layer on after I let that dry for like 20-30 seconds. So we're going to do that again. A little bit less this time, actually quite a bit less this time. This is all that we're working with on the second run. Now comes the tricky part. You always have your fingers crossed anytime you put on a stencil, but even more so when you're putting them on in places like the knee or the elbow. Now again, you always want to make sure the person is in their natural standing position. If you put it down, put the stencil on while they're sitting down, it's going to get wonky. So, standing up, knee the way it's going to be, and we take our stencil. We just line it right there with the purple, and then we press. Can be tricky. Work one side, then the other if you need to. We roll our hand this way. Again, you want to keep that pressure on there. Do your best to hold it as long as you can. And partially, you're really just hoping that it all comes out. Alright, here we go. Let's see what we have, what we don't have, what we're going to have to try to tidy up. So there you have it. I hope that you can see that. I'll try to zoom in on that. You want to turn your leg a little bit that way. Now, I'm going to give this time to dry. If I were going to tattoo it, probably 20-30 minutes if I can, maybe less. It's really up to you and how much time you have. But here's when you can go back now before you let it set and dry and add anything that may have come in light or just non-existing. But all right, so I guess if you wanted to, down here, you could pronounce these leaves a bit more if you wanted to. So as you can see, this is pretty much how you're gonna put a stencil on a knee. Make sure again, they're standing upright. And I'll have no problem putting them on a chair. I mean, this is a chair, a stool, something like that, so that the knee is at eye level. Or you can sit your butt on the ground and put the stencil on as well. And again, we're just going through here and finding spots that are a little bit light, right? So you get how that goes. Now, the reason why you want to do it while they're standing, so as you can see, now if we were to bend the leg, what normally would be a line that was about the size of your part of your pinky is now going to be the same size as your pinky. If you put the stencil on with their knee bent and you put the stencil on, when they were to go to put their leg down, it's all going to crinkle together and look smashed and wrinkled. Yeah, we're not looking for that. That's why you want to put it on while they're standing up. When they go to bend their leg, it will stretch and contour, okay? So that is how you would put that on. So this stencil right now is ready to rock. I really wish I could tattoo it, but she does not want her knee tattooed right now. So maybe in the future. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. I hope you understand now that it's really not too difficult to put a stencil on the knee. You just gotta take your time, be prepared, and do things to the best of your ability, and you'll make it happen. And if you guys want to pick up a t-shirt, support the channel, you can check that out below. I'll have a link in the description, or you can go over to my page and check out the store and see what we have to offer. It really does help the channel, guys, and I really appreciate your support. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and do ring the bell to get notifications when I post. Until next time, guys. Peace.